everybody. We are live. Just waiting for everyone to jump on. Hopefully you can join us this morning. Just waiting to see if Kaitlyn's going to pop in. And hopefully we've got, hi. Just trying to see who is on board here. And hopefully I'm going to see some people. Kaitlyn, there she is. Okay. There she is.
Wow.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear and see you. So this is a good thing.
Awesome. I have to use my garage, which it's ironic because it's our garage gym. So I was like, this will work.
As long as you're not chilly.
I have a space heater like right next to me. So we have 2 other people in our house and 2 crazy dogs. And so it's just that quarantine lifestyle right now.
Totally get it. No, I get it. I'm just going to switch it over. I'm going to, oh, you can't turn your phone while recording. Okay, sorry. There we go.
That's okay.
For sure. Hi, Mariana. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining us, ladies. We got a couple of ladies on with us. So
hello.
Yeah, so we're good. So you're in Denver, Colorado, right?
Yes, I am.
Whereabouts? Are you in Denver?
I'm basically in Denver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the biggest, closest city to you is Denver.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what's the weather like there for you?
It's like sunny right now and probably like 40 degrees.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty, because we are not so nice. Well, I'm not. I'm in Ontario, Canada. So we are looking at some a little blustery today. It's kind of cold. I think we're like minus 6 maybe. I'll check the weather.
Oh yeah.
Let me just
I forget.
Yeah, so I think you're about like 4 or 5 degrees. We're minus 9.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what, like 9, and it's probably about 32 degrees or something. So I guess I'm not too different from you.
I feel like, so Denver is like the mile high city, so it's elevated, and when the sun shines, it feels like it's like a summer day.
Oh wow, it's almost like what is like a greenhouse effect, I guess, maybe, because you just have it so compact. Perfect.
Yeah.
How was you had a few days away? How was that?
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. I went snowboarding and then just relaxed the past couple of days in the mountains here. So if anyone ever wants to come visit, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I would love to go to Colorado. It's gorgeous. I'm not a huge skier or anything, but hi, Christy. Yeah, it's Kirsty. Thanks for the session from York. She's from York, UK. It's wet and miserable here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll send you some sunshine.
Actually, my daughter's just applied to Huddersfield University. I think she wants to do her master's in York area. So we'll see if she gets in. But I'm pretty sure she said it was York. So that would be
what a small world.
Yeah. Hi, Sherry. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So we've got a few ladies on. Another Sherry's here too. So that's great. I got a few Sherry's in my group. Sherry rocks.
I love that. Love it. Hi, Sherry.
Your ladies on board. So why don't we get chatting? Because I don't want to hold everyone up for too long. It's Saturday, even though we're still in lockdown here in Ontario. But things to do, people to see. Maybe you have to go to the kitchen. There's places to go. It's just in your house.
Yes, there's like chores waiting, you know.
There's always something, right? Yeah. So,
totally.
Thank you for coming in and jumping in with us today. I had set up Kaitlyn with a few of the questions that I had set up in the poll. And so you guys had some great questions for her. So I shared those with Kaitlyn so she kind of has an idea of what we're looking for and what sort of things, movement and scheduling that we can do in our lives. Because while we're going through menopause, we can really be affected with our energy and our ability to just want to do any kind of traditional exercise. And so I thought it would, when Kaitlyn and I connected, I thought this would be amazing to get a certified personal trainer come in, because then we're really getting a chance to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and get, oh, see, another Sherry. We have 3 Sherrys on board today. So see, Sherrys are amazing in my group.
I see.
It's a Sherry fest. Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, and sort of what's your passion when it comes to moving and exercise and things like that.
Well, hello, everybody. It's like a Sherry party. I love it so much. Again, I'm Kaitlyn Monnette. I am a certified personal trainer. I'm also a certified fitness nutrition coach, and I just love people. And I have spent the last 7 years in group exercise because I love the community that it offers. So I just think that I come from a very interesting perspective. I'm not that personal trainer who loves exercise and lives for killing myself in every single workout. I just love to move my body. I know that it's healthy for me. When I was in 4th grade, my mom had gotten ovarian cancer, and they caught it right away, but that just changed our entire life. And she got rid of just all the chemicals in our house. We changed how we ate. We started implementing movement. So for me, movement is more about health, overall health, and just a really fun way for me to get to know people and create a community. So yeah, that's me.
That's you. Well, thank you so much, and wonderful news about your mom. That's great.
Yeah.
That all worked out well, because in 4th grade, that's a tough journey. My mom also had cancer when I was 11. She had thyroid cancer, and you don't realize until you're older what that really meant. But all went well in that journey for my mom as well. But hi, Nicola. Nicola's joined us as well. So
hello.
So thanks so much for introducing yourself. And what I thought we'd do is just dive right into the few questions that came up in the poll and get your expert perspective and some tips and guidance for us. That would be amazing.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing that was sort of the biggest topic, we got a lot of interest, is what are the best types of exercise to improve energy and to help to lose some weight?
I love that question. So any sort of movement where you can get your heart rate up slightly, we're not talking hard exercise. We're talking you're dancing to your favorite song and you're hanging out with your kids, or you're picking up the house and you're that was a workout, right? You feel like you have worked your body, but also at the same time, when you get a little tired, that's when it releases these happy endorphins, and that's what I call the energy that you're feeling after every workout I teach. I hope you're tired with some happy endorphins. So how can we elevate your heart rate that works for you, and how can you do that consistently so that you can lose weight? So I'm sure you've heard of things like Orange Theory Fitness or CrossFit. That's not what I'm talking about when I say elevate your heart rate. Sarah and I could go on a walk and we could do a power walk together, and we could still, have a conversation and be a little out of breath. Does that make sense to you, Sarah?
Yeah, so what you're suggesting is that as long as you can continue a conversation, I'm sure sometime at some point in our lives, we were going hard at something, and you can't even get that consistent sentence out because you're so out of breath or you're struggling to keep up your breath. So you're suggesting instead that enough that the heart rate's up, but still that we could comfortably have a conversation.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. And there's a couple apps that you can put on your phone, if you have an Apple Watch, that can tell you what sort of zones you're in. The fancy term is percentage of your VO2 max. So it's talking about like how well you can breathe, basically.
Oh, okay.
And usually there's 5 zones. And so if you are kind of nerdy and you want to know, you can download the app called Zones. It's for if you have any Apple products. And then if you have an Android, it's called Heart Rate Zones. And you want to be anywhere between 65 to 80% of what's called your maximum heart rate. And these apps will do all this calculation for you based off of your age and your weight.
Oh, so it will actually, if you put in your weight and your age, it will actually spit out your ideal heart rate zone.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool then. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Exactly. So you can go on a walk and maybe, you really like structure and you really want to know if you're in what's called like the fat burning zone, which is exactly what we're talking about. You can download that app and you can see that you're only at like 40%. Well, then maybe you're going to pump your arms a little bit more and you're going to pick up the pace a little bit more so that you can see your heart rate elevate, but also know that you're not going too high either, because when you're in menopause, you don't want to put too much stress on your body, because then it does the exact opposite of what you want, which is kind of like store all the fat, start to burn the muscle. So apps like these can be really helpful if you're super intentional about really wanting to exercise to lose weight, plus of course watching your nutrition. Like those two put together are the key to any weight loss success.
So how long do you need to be in that fat burning zone in order to, so if it's asking for like 60 to 80%, whatever that came out based on your input of your age and your weight, does it tell you how long you should be in that zone to be getting sort of your maximum fat burning?
Yeah, so ideally, if you could go on, studies show about like 130 minutes of exercise throughout the entire week. And so you could do that 4 days of 30 minutes. Like that could be a good way for you to do it. You could break it down into 20 minutes, more often, or 10 minutes more often. So those are what the studies have shown. I mean, realistically, like the fastest way you're going to do it is if you could do, 3 days at an hour each, that would be like the fastest way you're going to do it. But does it mean that you can't still reach your weight loss goals by separating it throughout the week? No, it'll just take you a little bit longer.
Because you sort of need to be in, so if you were to take, a lot of us don't have an hour, motivationally or even physically to commit to that kind of exercise commitment, right? Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining us. So if you do have the hour, that's great. If you don't, what was the name of the Android app, please? By the time I found a pen, I'd forgotten. It's heart rate.
Yes, heart rate zone.
Heart rate zone. Yeah. That's classic menopause brain right there. You want to do something that's like, what was I doing and why was I getting this? Yeah. So heart rate's zone, Kirsty. So so we were talking about the fact that if you didn't want to take a whole hour to do something, do you need in that hour, does your heart rate have to, hi Donna, thanks for joining us. If your heart, or what I was asking was, if you have an hour, does your heart rate have to be in that maximum heart rate zone the entire hour? Or
that's a great question.
Like 10 minutes and then you're doing something else, you can come up and so if you're doing even 10 minutes 3 times a day, or you're doing 30 minutes, how much in that time frame of you actually exercising should you be in your maximum heart rate zone?
I think it does, as long as you're getting it in within that week, that you're intentional for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Like you're intentional for those 10 minutes to spend that time in the 65 to 80%, you're going to receive benefit from that.
Yeah, yeah. And
does that resonate?
yeah, that totally makes sense, because I think about any sort of exercise program we do, we're not going, unless, like you said, it's like Orange Theory or high intensity interval training boot camp where you're like doing mountain climbers, and which is what we don't want to be doing, like you said, at this point in our lives. It doesn't mean we may not be able to ever do it. It just means that as we're struggling through really with some intense menopausal symptoms, we don't want to add more stress, like you said. So if when I'm doing I don't know, like a Pilates or even some sort of a cardio workout, we're not good. They don't make you go hard the whole time, so you can't keep your heart rate up that whole time. It does
Exactly.
fluctuate. Okay.
Yep, and that's totally fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, so like if your heart rate does elevate, you're honestly doing a lower impact HIIT training, which is great, which is also really good for the body to go into different zones. So if you find yourself in 50% of your maximum heart rate, and then you end up elevating it to 65% of your maximum heart rate, that is so good for the body to keep guessing kind of what sort of work is she going to make me do? And then that releases fat, and because it needs more energy to do this work because it doesn't know what's coming. So that's still a great benefit. So just because you can't stay in this zone for 30 minutes or for an hour, please don't just say, oh, I can't do that, I'm not even going to try. Because it all adds up. Any movement is good movement. And there's another topic that I wanted to talk about, which is called kind of just getting in movement throughout the day. And so it's not necessarily focusing on a zone, but actually sedentary lives are where we just sit all the time are very dangerous. And that's actually how you can get really sick in your life. So it's actually super beneficial to even just move your body every hour, to go to the kitchen, to go run upstairs, to go to the basement, to go take a walk around the block every couple of hours. And it's called, it actually helps boost your metabolism as well, which is what we all want, right? A boosted metabolism is going to help you lose weight. And it's, have you ever had that friend, Sarah, who just moves all the time, like they're super fidgety?
Yeah, my husband.
Okay. Usually those people, right, like they're like stick skinny, and you're like, what are you doing? They're just moving all the time. And so that is increasing their metabolism. They're burning more calories. So if you can find little ways to move throughout the day, the iWatch and the Fitbit, those things actually that give you little alarms throughout the day are super beneficial. Do not underestimate how that can impact your health and your weight loss goals by moving throughout the day.
Fantastic. And it's true, because my my Fitbit, you've moved 250 times, or sorry, 250 steps this hour. It wants you to do that, and it just reminds you, and generally I ignore it, but sometimes I don't. So that's great. So Sherry has a question, but you know what? We will get to that. So why don't we get to it now? It is on our list, but we'll just move it up and just say, so she's asking if there are any tips for increasing motivation. That's one of the things that we also had here. How do you create a routine, or how do you get motivated to move every day? She said she needs to make herself accountable. But it is really hard to commit. Laziness right now is very predominant in our lives, because we aren't active in terms of being able to do our regular, we can't go to the mall, we can't do this right now. So she's got an elliptical machine, she says, so she has no excuse, but how does she get from the couch to her little elliptical? Like, those two are not speaking right now. How do we repair that relationship?
Oh my gosh, I love this question so much. That's like my passion is like, how do we get motivated? And I think society and also this New Year time period sets us up for failure, because we set really big goals. And then we put all this shame and this guilt because my elliptical is just, collecting dust right now. And then we get all this negative self-talk, and it's like, and I should be doing an hour, and I should be doing 5 days a week or 7 days a week, and I'm not doing that. So all those things, we have to quiet that voice. That's like the devil on the shoulder. We got the angel over here who is your encouraging friend. So like, what can we start with? Can we start with 5 minutes every day? Can you, brush your teeth in the morning and then go on the elliptical? Can you create some sort of like reward system? So for yourself, maybe there's really something that you've wanted. And I always call it a non-food reward. Try not to reward yourself with food because that's not going to help you reach your weight loss goals. Maybe, you buy a new nail polish, or like, you get yourself a new pair of tennis shoes or a new workout clothes. And after you spend, 60 minutes, then you get your new tennis shoes. So kind of something fun that you really want, but you have to work to get it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I also really find having like a workout buddy, even a virtual workout buddy in this time. I have two friends where we have a group text message and we just tell each other every day, when we work out, and then we encourage that person, we give them high fives, and that when I get a text message from them, it just reminds me of like, oh, I should be doing my workout too. Our goals is to do 4 days a week, 30 minutes. And that 30 minutes can be whatever we want. It can be yoga for me. It can be dance. I love to dance. So I have the Peloton app. I don't have the actual bike.
Yeah.
So that's a really great option if you're stuck at home and you can't leave your house. So find a friend who also wants to be active. And like, you're in this group and there are ladies who have commented already that they want to move their bodies. So, Sherry meet Sherry, the other Sherry, and like started.
It should be a Sherry workout group. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I find those two things, like set up some sort of reward system or get an accountability buddy who also, wants to work out, and really try to be encouraging to that person. And, hey, I didn't get my workout in, but I'm going to get it in tomorrow, or like, hey, when can you get your work? Even though you didn't do it today, can you do like 5 minutes later today? Like, how can you guys be encouraging to each other when you are struggling? Because it is a struggle. Like, I struggle to get in my workouts. And it's just so nice to have friends who will encourage you to try again.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I think that's really the biggest takeaway I get from what you were saying is not having to put unrealistic goals upon ourselves, like 5 days a week for an hour. Like, that's really daunting. And it's setting us up for failure without question. I wanted to say hi to Bev. She made it. So glad you're joining us right now.
Hi, Bev.
So here's a specific question then for Sherry. She's got her elliptical trainer's lonely. She is not speaking to it. It doesn't love it right now. How does she get back together with it? So if we were to look at specifically that piece of equipment, whether it is your weights, whether it's like something's there taunting you on a daily basis, right? There's always something that watches you walk past it and go, you should be on me, but you're not. So how do we get it? Like, is it just start with like 10 minutes a day, like you said, like just getting on it and just going even one song and then getting off? That kind
Totally. Yes, there is great studies that show, if you can just put your gym shoes on and put your workout clothes and get on the machine and just commit, like you said, to one song. I'm just going to be here for one song. And honestly, after that one song, hopefully you choose a good song, right? One that you're enjoying, you're kind of like singing along to. You're on it, you're moving, you're already starting to feel good about yourself. You're proud that you stepped on the machine. You're like, well, I'm already here, so I might as well keep going.
Yeah.
So I think you hit the nail on the head there. You could, pick a Netflix show or something that you want to watch and like pop it up in front of there. Maybe you're just bored. I think some ellipticals have like different programs, right? Like, they're going to change the speed and they're going to change the incline for you. So maybe you just need to add some variety to the elliptical. You're just like over this same movement. So maybe you add some resistance, you add some incline, maybe you download the app and you test it out on the elliptical, see how it feels, right? You might just need to mix it up.
Yeah, and can't do that until you dip your toe back in there. So she said, thanks for the suggestions with a heart. So those are good. Okay, so let's go, how many times do I need to work out in order for it to make a difference?
Okay, so
you kind of touched a little bit on that.
More than what you're doing now.
That's a great answer. That is a fantastic answer.
And every month you add a little bit, right? So I think for this person, kind of analyze your lifestyle right now. Are you the person that can get in 30 minutes, of walking or strength training kind of 2 to 3 days a week? And if you're not that person, then how can you move often throughout the day in short bursts? I think, kind of being realistic with yourself, like what am I actually going to do?
Yeah. I agree.
And then just, maybe you start this week with 2 days at 30 minutes, you do that for a month, and then next month you do 3 days for 30 minutes. You don't have to start, come up with some sort of realistic plan for yourself.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. And Sherry commented, she goes, you're right, Kaitlyn, your body feels old if you don't move. And I think especially for women that are transitioning through perimenopause and sort of into our early 40s and onwards, we've got other things that we tighten up faster. We get sort of more joint pain, more aches. And I want to say hi to Annette and Jane for joining. So thanks, ladies, for jumping on. So yeah, we sometimes can, I feel stiff today, I don't think I'm going to work out, or my knees are rickety. And so we sort of can, based on how we're feeling, it can sometimes really direct us to not move because we're just like, I just don't feel like it. And when you first start out after not moving for a little bit, it is hard. It takes a lot of mind over matter. So you do need to be aware of that.
And I think that's where, what does feel good? What does feel like I could go walk around the block right now? It's not going to feel great, and I am going to feel a little achy, but I'm not going to feel like I hit a bus tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's a really good point, because I think one of the traps that some of us get into based on our mindset, and for a lot of us, we're from the 80s, the no pain, no gain era, the 20-minute workout, and those really high cut workout bodysuits with the tights, that was the life that we had, right? And you had to go hard, and if I couldn't sit down on the toilet without being in excruciating pain the next day, well, shit, I didn't work hard enough. I got to work harder the next day. So it's a mind. We some of us have this old school approach to it. I'm 100% guilty of it. It took me a long time to shift the way that I thought how movement looked, and I always thought it was hardcore, excuse me, but balls to the wall, right? You had to go into it, and then no pain, no gain, so why bother? And after a while, that's hard to keep up.
It's hard to keep up, and then you have to find a happy medium, because if you don't move at all, you're still feeling achy and your joints hurt. And then if you go super hard, you hurt really bad there too. And in menopause, you just get bloated and the stomach comes back and it's worse. So you just we all have to find a gray space, because that's really where your results happen. And oftentimes I hear this all the time. It's oh man, I came into class today, Kaitlyn, and I was super achy and I just really didn't feel like it. But now I actually feel better. My back is loosened. As you warm up your body, you're warming up your joints, you're warming up your muscles, and they loosen. And like, I forgot who said it, you know, someone was saying like, as they get older, you know, the joints hurt, you know.
Yeah, that was, I think Kirsty said it. Let me just move up here. I think she said, yeah, you know, Sherry was saying that, Kaitlyn, yeah, your body feels old if you don't move. Yeah.
And so you're going to feel better. Like I always say to my classes, it's like on their birthdays, I'm like, you're only getting younger because you're exercising, guys. Like it's one of those things where you have to think about what the benefit is when it's over and kind of get out of this headspace of how you feel right now. And that's very challenging. But if you can really think about your long-term goals and how you're going to feel after this walk and how you're going to feel after you do yoga, how you're going to feel after I saw this lady does a YouTube walking video that everyone is talking about, that Leslie, I can't say it, Leslie Sanson's walking.
Sanson's walking.
Yes.
On YouTube. Yeah.
Motivational, lots of fun. Like, okay, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel motivated. I'm going to have fun. And, you know, I'm just going to put on my clothes. I'm going to start the video. Like,
it's true. You know what? Can I just make a point here? Ladies, I don't care what you wear. I had this stupid notion that I had to be thin to buy my first pair of Lululemons. And it's just, when I got a pair for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I may have like sort of shoved myself in them, but I still felt great. And so, you know, if you've got a pair, you're at home, nobody's there, go for it, right? And if you're not ready to do the gym thing, there's so much. So let's talk a little bit about that. So if you don't want to do the gym, you're not comfortable going to this gym, and you're just not comfortable putting yourself out there, what is and especially since we're still in lockdown, Jane says she has fun walking her dogs in draggy clothes. Yeah, you should see me when I walk my dog. I am not a fashion statement. I run into women that have full faces of makeup, and you know, they're big fur-lined, big, you know, fancy coat, and I'm like, really? I'm just schlepping out here because, you know, that's what I do. Hi, Wendy. Thanks for joining. So yeah, if you've got, if you have minimal things at home, like not everyone has equipment. And so what kind of exercises? You had referenced some dancing and walking, obviously, but what are some of the things that you can really utilize with what you have at home? And how can you just sort of work with what you have and put in that first starting minutes of the day to get you started until you can get into a routine?
I'm so glad you asked me that, because I was going to like circle back. I was like, we need to talk about strength training, because it is so vital in weight loss, and it's so vital in the stage of menopause, in building bone density and building muscle strength. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. And so many great reasons to do strength training. Now, strength training doesn't have to be, again, like a chest press at the gym or lifting dumbbells like at your class. Like, you can do it at home. You can do it. I mean, when we were in lockdown, I was leading these like Zoom classes, and I was using soup cans and wine bottles and laundry detergent. So there you go, friends. So just use, like you said, using what you have. You know, when you just have like soup cans and whatnot, you're just going to do like more repetitions of things. So if you're watching a workout video, like whether it's Peloton or you're on YouTube and you found something that somebody was talking about, you'll just, you know, you can do pulsing movements. I don't know. I'll just
show us, Kaitlyn.
Jimmy back here a little bit, but like, you know, maybe you want to like work your triceps. So you're just going to hold something up here and you're just going to pulse it like a bunch of times, like 20, 30 times, because that's when you're going to start to feel the muscle burn, right? So if you have lighter weights and you want to build muscle, so how you build muscle is actually by breaking that muscle down. So that's when you feel that soreness. And then rest is so vitally important to actually building that muscle back. So strength training, you know, doing squats or doing bicep curls or working your triceps, all those things are strength training. and you are breaking that muscle down when you are doing that exercise, and it's the rest, the 24 hours, the 48 hours between those exercises, between your next exercise, that your body is building that muscle back. So it's coming together and it's building another layer on top.
Oh, okay.
During your rest.
Okay.
So strength training should be done every other day.
So Beth brought up a really good point here. She was saying that she actually feels so weak when strength training. She's such a wimp. So Bev, is that because you feel like you have to go like high weights? Is that, so if you can clarify that comment, because I agree, like sometimes you feel like you need to be lifting these big heavy weights to do your strength training. So I think just like you said, even soup cans, but it's more rep, lightweight equals more rep, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. And then she also asked, I'll just wait if Bev clarifies that, but she also asks, will weight training help with skin laxity also?
Like extra skin?
Yeah, like I think if you've got some sagging skin and if you're
Yeah.
weight training, does building that muscle help tighten the skin up? I think that's maybe what she means.
It can a little. It does to a certain point, and then afterwards.
Oh, Bev, I just love you. No, she goes,
Yeah.
I just find I'm not very strong, even with 5 to 10 pounds. Hey, that's all good. It's all good. So you may just have to start with 1 or 2, right?
Oh yeah, in my gym here, I have 2-pound weights. I have 3-pound weights. Like, there's no shame in that. Like,
No.
you got to start somewhere, friends. And really, with strength training, it's like if you can do 2 to 3 days a week, that is hugely beneficial. And then when you're consistent with strength training, that's where you start to feel stronger. It's one of those things where when you stop, that you definitely notice that weak feeling, and that's normal. But just again, you have to start somewhere, and everybody feels that way. Everybody got stuck in this lockdown, right? Like everybody at some point in time, like couldn't do the workout and the movement that they enjoyed. Athletes couldn't work out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, lots of people are feeling the way you're feeling. Lots of people are feeling weak.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit, if you will, about the burn, because I think that's sometimes what we're not used to with when you work out. Sort of there's that cardio. Oh, I'm out of breath. I can't, I can't get my breath. So that sort of pulls us back a little bit in our intensity. But when we're working out with weights, there's this burn. We're not like, our heart rate's not pumping. We're not like doing, running a mile, but how do you work through that burn? Because that's where you just, especially with this, when you're doing this over and over, even with 1 or 2 pounds, you get on that 15, 20 rep, it's burning. Like, so
Yes.
How do you work through that burn so you can get some more, like get growth, I guess?
It sounds terrible, but it's like, this is working. Like when you feel that, it's like, oh, I'm building muscle here. Okay. So kind of talk to yourself like in almost like, it feels like cultish, but it's like, the burn is good. Like once you get to the burn, it's like, it's working. Like you are building muscle. Like, so if you can kind of talk yourself through, like, you don't want to kill yourself, right? Like we don't want to be doing burpees. We don't want to like not be able to walk the next day, but a little bit of a burn during your workout when you're strength training is a good thing. Maybe you start with 1 round. So as a gift to your ladies, I have a strength workout and there's levels to it. So I have like a beginner level push-ups where you do your hands on the couch, and then your, hands on the ground, etc. And every exercise has levels. So start with the beginning level, and do 1 round this week. And then next week you'll do 2 rounds. So I wouldn't say like go into your strength-based workout and do 3 to 5 rounds of that same exercise the first time, because then you will feel almost debilitated the next day and you just want to be a little sore. Like, I know I worked my triceps. I know I worked my glutes from those squats, you know, but like not where you go down to the toilet and you're going to fall because you worked so hard.
You hold on to everything as you try and shimmy that butt down and getting back up is even worse. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great.
Over time, it doesn't feel as hard, and that's a good thing. But then maybe how can you challenge yourself again? Like it's always good to be just a little sore, a little challenge when you do strength movements.
Yeah, and I think that's just the key, isn't it? Because I started working out again regularly at the beginning of January, and I have an accountability partner. My daughter and I text each other every day with the snapshot of the workout complete, and I need it more than she does. So if she misses a day, whatever, but it really helps because I am like done and off I go. And there's also, for me, the time of day is important. I can't work out in the evening, and I'm done by the end of the day. So if I get it done, it has to be first thing in the morning. So finding, like you said, finding that sweet spot for yourself really helps. Now, Jane's saying in the morning, she looks thinner. She can, I can, but my burlesque dance gear on by the end of the day. Oh, so she could wear her burlesque dance gear and put that on, but by the end of the day, she needs her PJs, so probably an elasticated waist because she feels bloated. So Jane, is that something that is related to exercise, or if you can maybe give us a bit more insight into what might be like what you were thinking there? Any thoughts on that for you, Kaitlyn?
I mean, when I read that, it sounds like maybe she would feel, Jane, you might feel best working out in the morning because your body feels thinner, you feel lighter, it's easier to move your body. So, you know, listening to how your body is talking to you, like you had said, like you can't work out in the evening, you know, so maybe Jane is also that person who would feel better working out in the morning, but I could totally be getting that wrong.
Yeah,
you're
right. I think you're right. If you are, because that's typically if I'm going to feel bloated, it's usually by the end of the day. So it's either something I've eaten that I shouldn't have eaten, or I actually bloat if I overexert myself too. So if I'm doing like high intensity training of any kind, it actually creates bloating for me too. So I've also had to make those changes. Oh, Liz joined us too. Hi, Liz. Nice to see you.
Hi, Liz.
Okay, so the last one, because I just want to watch the time. The last one for us then is, how do I work out if I have an injury or if I'm struggling with any issues with the knee or the neck or the back?
Okay, awesome. I'm going to circle back to the last question quickly. The burn with strength training, the last like 2 to 3 reps. That's what the last 2 or 3 reps are, where you want it to feel hard and challenging. You don't need to do 10 or 20 reps super hard and super challenging.
Okay.
So
that's a great clarification.
So now we can move forward there. I just wanted to help.
That's a great clarification, because I think it's a little daunting to know if you're going to feel that burn. Am I going to feel it the entire 15 to 20 reps that I'm doing with low weight? But you're saying to kind of push through the burn for those last 2 or 3, because that's when you're really seeing the maximum benefit on the muscle.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, and Jane's great in the morning. I'm assuming you have your poo in the evening. Okay. So that's when she's probably bloated until she can go to the bathroom. So yeah, if you're going to go do the workout, Jane, probably the morning's going to be your better option, so that you can actually not be, I guess, like, there's a good question. Can your body overstimulate from a bowel perspective if you're exercising and you're not, is there any issues there? Because I hear people doing marathons and then their bowels just release at the end of like a 20K run or something.
Yes, and that's a thing after pregnancy, and it's also a thing in menopause that I have heard of, where just you need to go to the bathroom all the time. And I would suggest like if you can find a really great physical therapist and do some pelvic health stuff there, I would say that's outside of my zone of genius.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a thing, and I'm learning myself that it is very fixable, and it's just like core strengthening and pelvic strengthening movements.
Yeah.
Kegels, all these things, and can actually help you so that you don't actually feel like you need to go to the bathroom all the time. So please know that, like, I do have a great lady for that too. So like, but there are options, and you don't have to feel that way during exercise.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, any suggestions or recommendations around working out with an injury?
Mobility, so like stretching or yoga, even just like 5 minutes in the morning when you wake up to just start to loosen your body, right? Because you don't want to spend your whole day like that either, like, you know, feeling tight and achy. I'm gonna have to send you some other people physical therapists who do some really great like 5-minute mobility stretches, who have awesome, just like, I always say injuries are, I'm going to refer someone to get that fixed, because you really want to talk to someone who can help you feel better and move without pain. And until then, I think you have to know your body well. So what causes the pain? What causes it? And don't do that. And find other ways to move that feel good. You know, Pilates can be a great one. Yoga can be a great one. Cycling, I don't know if you can see it, but I have my bike up on a trainer. And so like my road bike, I use inside in the garage, you know, or move it to the living room, right? Because if it's cold, you're not going to come out in the garage and work out.
That's right.
So low impact, the elliptical, the bike, going on walks. You know, if you do have access to a pool, you know, that's also a great low impact way to move your body. If you're searching like YouTube videos, you want low impact workouts. You know, bar could be a good option. I think Peloton put bar and Pilates and yoga.
Yeah, great. So, and you know what, forgive me, there's just been so much great conversation here. I asked you, didn't I, about different ways to move, right? Like different exercises. We talked about that, different things that we can do in the house, right? Yeah.
Oh, not really. I mean, basically, you could do push-ups off of your counter. I think that's a really great way.
That. Yeah.
I think you and I may have talked about it, but I don't know if we talked about it in here.
Did we talk about it, ladies? I don't know. We've been talking about some great stuff. Just different things that we can do. Hey, Christine, nice to see you. Oh my gosh, that's like, awesome. She jumped on.
Love it. Hello. You know, you could hold a squat while brushing your teeth, like against the wall. Ooh, those are great options. The higher you go, the less burn you feel, so you can start to slowly get lower. And all of the exercises that the gift that I have of the workouts, they're all body weight workouts. They're all body weight strength, so they can do them at home.
Oh, like without any equipment? You just use
without any equipment. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. There was a question here. What's the best way to strengthen? Oh, and I have to, in Jane's defense, I have to clarify. She's okay with her toilet habits. Everything's good. She just feels tired in the evenings. So that's where I think she was good that we made the suggestion to do her movement in the morning. So I think she was good with that. And Sherry was asking, what's the best way to strengthen your core? Is there simple things that you can do at home that can start strengthening the core?
Yes. Maybe I should just move my cell phone and do one.
Move, grab your phone and take us with you.
All right, guys. Let's see if you can see me here.
Yep. We're making her get on the floor on her garage. What will do for us?
This is called the dead bug. So you kind of look like a bug on the floor. So you're just going to lay on your back, and let me know if you can't hear me when I'm back here.
Okay.
But it's really important to feel this one, that your low back should be pushing onto the floor, and you should really be squeezing your belly from your rib cage all the way to your pelvic floor. And I'm going to extend my legs. And so you'll see here. So knees are over my hips. I'm squeezing my belly. I cannot put my hands underneath my low back. And then I'm going to rest my head. And then I'm going to release one leg to the floor. Hold it for 2 seconds. Come back up. Really squeezing my belly. As I lower my legs, I'm not going to let my low back arch. That's the key here.
Okay.
So you'll kind of like exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up. And you should feel that in your lower abdominal. The next one I'm going to give you guys, you're going to be on your hands and your knees. And you want a neutral spine. So you don't want it to arch like this. That means you're working your low back. Okay. So these movements should not be felt in your low back.
Yeah.
Squeeze your belly, neutral spine, and you're going to lift up opposite arm, opposite leg.
Oh, a little balancing too.
Yes. And you don't have to lift very high to engage your core.
Okay.
It's usually when you go too high that you start to feel it in your low back.
Yeah, we saw your arch, your back arch when you went too high like that. Yeah.
So those are my two core.
Amazing.
Core
Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. So you know what, you mentioned something, the breathing. A lot of people struggle with the right breathing, and I am notorious for holding my breath when I work out in those kind of moves. So you have to, yeah, Sherry's like, love it. So that's great. That answered her question. And hi, Becky. Thanks for joining us. So when you're breathing, what's the formula? Like breathe in when you exhale or inhale on what kind of move?
Yes. So you want to exhale on any exertion. So I think like a bicep curl, when you come up, you exhale. When you come down, you inhale through your nose.
Okay.
But also, before you start any movement, so we often breathe wrong. And so this learning to breathe correctly is super helpful for way more than exercise. It's actually really good to de-stress. I know you're huge on that. So while we're here, I'm just gonna teach you guys how to breathe correctly. But I put my hands on my rib cage. And then I breathe in, and my ribcage should expand. My shoulders should not move. And then as I exhale, everything comes in. So you put your hands on your ribs. You should feel your ribs come out into your hands. It's like an umbrella almost.
Yeah.
Like the center of your ribs, like those are coming out and in. So you're not breathing from your chest. You're not breathing from your shoulders. You're not going up and down. Like I think a lot of people think of the diaphragm, like your shoulders coming up.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to get tension in your upper back and your neck. And you're going to continue to hold your stress, and you're not going to feel good.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. So yeah, that's amazing, because I think that I always tease my son, because when he works out with me, he's like, his face goes red, and I'm like, dude, breathe. You got to keep the breath going. So I think just something simple as exhale on the exertion, you said, and inhale on what is it? Like the easier of the movement, I guess you take in the breath?
Yeah, like the release almost of it. Like I think of like the curl on the way up is the exertion, and then you kind of release the weight down. That's when you inhale.
Awesome. Hi, Tracy. Thanks for coming on. Okay, so yeah, I think unless anyone has any questions, we've got a few more minutes with Kaitlyn before we let her run. But those were sort of the main 4 questions that I wanted to ask from the poll that we had done in the group. So we talked about the best types of exercise. We talked about how to work out if we have some kind of injury. We talked about breath. How do we create a routine so we can get motivated? And we talked about how many times a week we should work out, at least try and aim for. We talked about accountability. We talked about things that we can do in the house if we don't have access to a gym, or if we don't have access to certain types of equipment. So, and did you have something you were going to share with the group? Are you going to put that in there?
Yes. Is it okay if I just go back after this live and pop it in there? Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have a strength-based workout in there for you guys that you can do at home, and then there's 3 others that are very similar to it in my Facebook group. So if you guys want to come on over, we're always doing fun, simple ways to move your body. And then I just give little gift cards out to, again, like that reward system, right?
Keep motivated, yeah. So thank you, Kaitlyn. Everyone's jumping on, as you can see, saying thanks so much. Was really helpful, which is great. That was our intention. And Kaitlyn will follow up with her resource that she will put a link to in the comment section. And also you'll link to your Facebook group as well, a free Facebook group that if people are interested, they can jump on and get some tips there as well.
Awesome. Yes, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Great to see everyone. Take care. Thanks. Bye now.
Bye.